We're going to begin tonight with breaking news in the murder of that older couple in Queens. The man accused of killing them in custody tonight.
The murder's happening in Queens, and police tracked him to Times Square, where he was taken into custody. But he is back in Queens tonight, being questioned by cops. Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon live at the NYPD station house, where that man is currently being held. Sonia.
Yeah, Mike, Jamel McGriff is in custody and being questioned here at the 107 precinct station in Pominock. It's about 7 miles from the quiet street with houses and gardens in Belrose that became the scene of that horrible crime on Monday. Now, the reason he is here is that this is the home of the NYPD's Queens Homicide Squad, which has been investigating. But it was some alert officers in Times Square today that spotted McGriff and handcuffed him, thanks in part to messaging to NYPD officers citywide that let them know that the suspected killer was using the victim's credit cards in Manhattan. Jamel McGriff's movements have been logged by technology at every turn since he allegedly showed up in Belrose, going door to door asking for help charging his phone Monday. And at least one person said no. Video from a nearby Ring camera shows victim Frank Olton letting him into his home, with the home on fire just a few hours later. Frank Olton had been tied up and stabbed. Both he and his wife Maureen burned.
You just wonder, why couldn't you just take what you wanted and leave them alone?
Neighbors who've been asking that question can rest easier tonight in Belrose, knowing that the man suspected in the depraved murder of the elderly couple is in the custody of the NYPD.
But that's so coward, man. You know, an elderly couple, man, that's like the most coward thing that you can do, man. You know, and the guy walked around here like he was some tough guy. And then you go and murder an elderly man.
Victor lives at the Bronx men's shelter where McGriff had been staying, which has been getting visits from detectives and the Department of Homeless Services. On Tuesday, the morning after the murders, police say video shows McGriff at this check cashing business on Fordham Road, pawning 2 cell phones from a machine that lets you trade phones for cash. McGriff was also allegedly using the victim's credit cards at, among other places, the Regal Cinema in Union Square. But it was early this evening in Times Square, near Lucky Strike Bowling, that police officers who were being alerted about McGriff's movements recognized him and took him into custody. The convicted armed robber and sex offender, who served 16 years in prison, is now about to face charges far worse than any he's faced before.
But there was something about him, it was off.
Now, I spoke tonight by phone with a friend of the victims who says now that this suspect, who was described as armed and dangerous, is finally off the streets, those who knew and loved Frank and Maureen Olton can focus on how they want to honor and remember them. Live in the Pominock section of Queens tonight, Sonia Rincon, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.